Elon Musk at one point stood against the entire tech industry and didn't back down. Yet, so many of us can't even say no in a meeting or when our kids push for one more thing. The truth is, people respect your no more than your yes. And with your no's, you're able to step into real leadership. In this video, I'll show you the 5 reasons you're unable to say no and the workarounds for them so that you can say no without guilt, you can stand strong at work, set healthy boundaries at home, and stay steady even with difficult, toxic, narcissistic people. This podcast is brought to you by the Lead with Ease Academy that helps you build your leadership from the inside out. Link in description if you want to know more. So let's start. The first reason many people are unable to say no is people pleasing. They they have the fear of dissatisfying or disagreeing with people. They have high rejection sensitivity. They can't handle rejection from people. And they feel that if they say no a little too often, people may not like them, people may get upset with them, and it would be a disaster if people around them are not happy. So, in such people, they end up sacrificing their whole being, their whole identity, just so that everyone around them is happy. But overall, they end up being unhappy and they end up not achieving much and they end up self sabotaging. Some are also after popularity. They feel that if they are popular with their team members, with their company, if people like them, it's going to help them more in their leadership. Similar case with kids, that if my kids like me, it's going to make it easy for me to parent them. Yes, but people want to see leadership. Your kids want to see leadership, and they're going to respect when you're able to say no. Because people need someone to lead them so that they can grow. A venture capitalist wants to see someone with a spine, conviction, who doesn't say yes to everything the VC says. And saying no is possible while staying connected to the person and keeping the relationship intact. And that is what some of us people pleasers need to learn. The next reason that some of us are unable to say no is we may be too empathic and we may take responsibility of people's feelings, wondering how they may feel, how it might impact them, whether they'll be able to handle it or not, etc. Too much empathy, too much feminine leadership, feminine qualities in leadership. And what you need is a good balance between the feminine and the masculine. Because you realize you're dealing with adults and their feelings are their responsibility. At the same time, when you're saying no, your messaging can be pleasing, as described in the Bhagavad Gita 17 chapter 5th verse, which talks about the austerity of speech, which consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. So it's saying here that you want to be truthful, pleasing, and beneficial without agitating the other person. So doesn't mean you don't say the truth. You don't say what's beneficial just because it might agitate them. No, you say it in a way in which that's not agitating to them. And at the same time, they're adults and they can deal with their feelings. And when it comes to dealing with children, it's good learning for them to learn how to face no and learn how to still be upbeat in life, learn how to handle that no, integrate that discipline in their life and move forward. Now, for some of us who struggle with the first two, in the sense that we are into people pleasing, we fear dissatisfying people, or we take too much responsibility of our own, of other people's feelings, uh, I would recommend a little bit of self love, where you learn how to honor your own needs and feelings and what your body is telling you and learn how to say no. But that starts with self love for some of us. And I recommend that you can get this self love bracelet with the rose quartz to pacify your root and heart chakras, to the tiger's eye to strengthen your sense of self through the solar plexus, and the green jade to help you stay calm, even if some people may be upset with you and your nose, and the amethyst so that you have a calm, clear mind as you deliberate some of these decisions. Now, the third reason that some of us are unable to say no is that we lack the strength to stand alone with our views. It's like we our inner conviction is strong, but we still want to be part of a tribe. We still want people around us, and we are unable to stand alone in doing what we want to do and doing what we're convinced about. And that inner conviction, honoring that inner conviction, that gut feeling, the culmination of years of experience, becomes difficult for some of us. And we tend to flow with what everyone is saying because we want to be part of a group, or we believe that maybe they know better than us, and we kind of discount ourselves. And also, sometimes when you have to stand alone, you also have to deal with the consequences of that alone, and that can be feel very risky to some of us. Now, an example of somebody who did that wonderfully is Elon Musk. As I started this podcast with, he went against the whole left controlled tech industry, stood his ground, stood his views around the industry. And now you see the entire tech industry trying to come out of the clutches of the control that the previous government had on them. And now everyone's following Elon, and they're all feeling free. Earlier, it used to be like you couldn't exist in Silicon Valley if you were a Republican. You had to be a closet Republican to do that. But now, so many of them coming out, standing their views, and doing everything that they want to do because this one man, Elon Musk, had the strength to stand alone, go against the entire tech industry, and do it. And now he's leading so many people who followed him into this, and it made him a taller leader. Now, another reason that some of us are unable to say no, the fourth reason, is we're probably overcompensating for something in our life. I met a leader recently who once said that they could not say no to their spouse and to their children as their children were growing up, because she was working so hard in building up her company, and she felt the need sh- to compensate for her presence or her absence. And because of that overcompensation, she said yes to everything her children asked of her, to be that good super mom. But it took away from her leadership, and why her children would look up to her. While affection is needed, um, direction is needed too. And as she overcompensated, gave whatever they asked for, they get used to it. And she started feeling very drained out when one day she decided to put her foot down when the asks were getting extreme from her children, older children now. And when she said no, she lost all the connection with her. She realized they were not in love with her. The whole relationship was based on whether she was meeting their needs or not. It was very transactional. And she realized that they were not in love with her, but they were what was in her hand that she was ready to give them. And she kept helping, kept serving nonstop, said yes 100 times, and the 101th time she said no, she became a very, very bad person. Now, as a leader, you may have to take certain stands which not many people will like you to do, not many people will appreciate you for. But at the same time, you need to do that. And that requires a lot of inner conviction and a lot of inner confidence, and a very strong sense of self. Now, I'd also recommend that for those of you who want to build that, could get the personal power bracelet with the red jade, tiger's eye, and black onyx to strengthen your root chakra and your solar plexus chakra, so that you can be strong in your own personal power and face whatever situations and whatever consequences that come. And the black onyx protects you from a lot of negative energy and your own negative thoughts. Something I'd recommend. Now, let's look at the fifth reason why some people are unable to say no and what you can do about it. Is that there are many fears that prevent people from saying no. And people sign up for too many things. Maybe they're worried that the funding may go away, or they say yes to too many things because they worry that this employee or this person might leave, or they may agree to something because they think that, oh, some future loss might happen, or they may agree thinking that, oh, if I lose this relationship, things are going to be very difficult for me, and I don't have anyone else to fall back on. Or some of us are not driven by fears, but we are driven by spontaneity, where in the moment we may feel so inspired to do something that we may say yes spontaneously, and then we may regret later that we didn't think it through properly. So, which of these are impacting you? Which of these fears are there that prevent you from saying no, from saying yes? Or are you also a victim of your own spontaneity? Spontaneous behavior is good in leadership as it helps you not remain stuck to set patterns, but to act according to what the market needs. But at the same time, you can't be too spontaneous. And in situations like this, where you're overcome with fears or spontaneity, it's important that you don't say no when your mind is clouded with these things, or you don't say yes. Um, Either you tell them that you need some time to think about it and get back, and that's true leadership. People will appreciate you for that. That you were firm and you took a stand, and people will respect you for that. They may not like you, but they will respect you and they'll know you to be a very strong leader. Now, there are two models in leadership, whether at home or in the workplace. It's the push model or the pull model. The push model is more on the coaching leader side, it's more feminine, where you are pushing people by coaching them, advising them, and helping them transform their thoughts, and leading them. It's more democratic and it's empathic, and it gives people a lot of space, and there's a time and need for that. But sometimes there is the need for a pull model also, where with your leadership, with you standing your ground, with you saying no, you pull people in a direction which is necessary for their growth, their benefit, and the benefit of the organization. And they may not be able to see it, and that's fine. But you got to pull them in that direction and make things happen, because you all are also answerable to the greater good and to the organization. Now, if you liked this podcast, I would request you to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the bell notifications icon so that you're notified every time a new video is released. And for those of you, I have left you with 5 tips today on 5 reasons on which you can't say no, and ways to overcome that mindset and to change it. And I know some of you will be able to do this on your own, but at the same time, some of you would prefer high touch support because you've been doing things alone a long time, and you think you will benefit in your leadership and at home if you have the support, if you have a sounding board, and if you have an accountability partner who can help you think through things. So, this is what I have to offer to you. So, you could sign up for one on one support with me, one on one private coaching with me, various options available. And you can click link below in the description. Now, some of you do not want one-on-one coaching, but at the same time, you realize that doing things on your own hasn't been very successful for you. So you would like to do something in a self-paced way, and you have access to this to 3 of my memberships, depending on which area of life you're trying to grow. And as that's the Self Mastery Academy for those of you who are trying to think of it like life coaching. The 6 important areas of your life: yourself, your wealth, your relationships, your career, your and so on, your spirituality, and so on. The Lead with These Academy is for those who are really trying to focus on inside out leadership development, and the Heal Strong program for those of you who are trying to recover from toxic narcissistic relationships. Now, let's just do a quick recap on what happens if you don't learn how to say no. When you keep saying no, when you keep saying yes when you should be saying no, how does it impact you? You have less than ideal outcomes in life. You live a life of self sabotage. You're frustrated all the time. You're unable to do what you truly want to do in your life. Your time is not your own because it's been taken away by all the yeses you have said to people. And a lot of people start having health issues when they don't live an aligned life, when their outside does not match their inside, what they truly want. You start feeling sick in your body. Your body starts saying no, and you lose out on influence. People don't take you seriously as a leader. They don't come to you when it's truly needed. They don't see you as that person with that presence and that firmness and that ability and that self conviction to take everyone else for the higher good. So, this is important. Keep this in mind as you make decisions on which membership to join. And I also have a free guide, which is the Bold Leadership Journal, which you can download and you can take benefit from. So until next time, see you and bye bye. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And please and subscribe, like this video and subscribe to my channel. And also turn on the notifications so that you get notified every time there is a new podcast. Thank you and bye bye.